To start creating your first Angular application, head over to your terminal and type the command ng new and then your application name. Here ng refers to Angular CLI. So whenever you type ng in your terminal, Angular CLI will take that command, and new is for creating your new Angular application, and after that you will have to type your application name. So here for our preference, we will create a poster application where we will see the list of posts and also create and update that post. So we will type the poster here. So once you click on enter, it will ask you several questions. For example, whether you want to create a zoneless application or not. So we will see the zoneless applications in our upcoming videos. So for now, we will select no here, and then it will ask you which style sheet format you would like to use. For example, whichever style sheet you choose here, that type of CSS files or SCSS files will be created for each of your components. So we will select SCSS for our preference here, and it will also ask you whether you want to enable server-side rendering or not. We will see what is server-side rendering in our upcoming videos. So we will select no for now. So once you answer all these questions, this will start creating your Angular CLI application. So once our application is created, we can move ahead into our folder. For example, we can go to our created application using the cd command, and once you are into that folder, you can open that same folder or same application into your Visual Studio Code. So you can type the command code and dot. Code means here Visual Studio Code, and dot represents our current folder where we are in, for example poster. You can manually open your application in Visual Studio Code by moving ahead into the file and open the folder and locate the created application, the created poster application that we just added into our folders. So once we click on code dot, this will open the same application into Visual Studio Code. Now that we have opened our poster application into VS Code, let's just go through what are the files and folders created by Angular CLI. So these are the files and folders that has been created when we first create our Angular application. We'll go through each of them one by one. So first of all, we will go through the angular.json. Angular.json is a core configuration file in our Angular workspace. It provides workspace-wide and project-specific configuration defaults for the build and development tools provided by the Angular CLI. Now the workspace configurations are just a bit here. So workspace configuration is a top-level priorities that configure the entire Angular workspace, such as the version, as you see here, 1 of the Angular JSON schema, and the new project root, which specifies where new projects are created by the Angular CLI. And the project specific configurations are done over here in the projects object. It includes project section that contains detailed configuration options for each application and library within the workspace. It includes build and serve options. As you can see, the build options are right over here, and the serve options has been right over here, right? So whenever we serve our applications in local, this configuration is opened up, is fired up by the Angular CLI. Based on this configuration, the Angular CLI uses this applications serve, and we serve the Angular CLI serves this into the browser. Now there are assets and styling mapping as well. So if you have any assets, for example the images and the style sheets, that are also configured over here in the assets and styles arrays. And there are also environment configurations and the testing configurations along with schematic defaults. Next we will move to package.json file. Package.json file is a crucial file that serves as the manifest for the project, primarily used by NPM to manage its dependencies and scripts. The key aspects in this package.json file are the scripts and the dependencies and all the project metadata. For example, the name, the version of this application, the name of this application, along with the private that is true over here. Okay, and also there are prettier configuration that has been done. So these are extras. So not all the projects does have this prettier configuration. Okay, so these also have the dev dependencies, and also the private property is set to, when the private property is set to true, it indicates that the package is not intended for public publication to the npm registry. This is typically the case for Angular applications. The scripts over here are basically all the scripts that you can use in your terminal, or you can directly run using the run script or debug script from here. So start command basically use the ng serve. So this command is taken from the Angular JSON. So whenever you write ng serve and or write the npm start command into your terminal, so this will run the Angular command ng serve, and the serve is being taken by the configurations from the angular.json that we just saw in a couple of minutes. For example, this serve, so this will take all this configuration and serve your Angular project. Same, we have the build command. This build command is used from the angular.json file, and once this build command is run into your terminal, we can see that this is taken from the angular.json, as we have seen in the previous in a couple of minutes ago. So same commands we have for watch and test files. Next we will see is the package.json file. Package.json file in an Angular project serves as a record of the exact dependency tree and its metadata that was created during the npm install. It is automatically created and updated by the npm. So this package.json file ensures that every time npm install is run in my machine or any other developer's machine, the exact versions of all the dependencies and their sub dependencies are installed. For example, in the package.json, if I have the version for one dependency that is for compiler, or for other dependencies that have been a third-party dependency, so that exact version will be installed in the other developers Angular project. So this prevents it works on my machine problem by guaranteeing consistent environment across different developers and deployment stages. Package.json locks down the precise versions, including transitive dependencies. By having the exact dependency tree defined, npm can skip the time-consuming process of resolving dependencies version during the subsequent installs. Next we will see the tsconfig.json file. As you already know, Angular uses TypeScript. So tsconfig for the .json file is an configuration file for the TypeScript compiler. It specifies the root files and the compiler options required to compile the TypeScript code into your project, into the JavaScript. So TypeScript compiler has compiler options or the compiler configurations like this one. So it defines how the TypeScript compiler should behave when transforming your TS files into JS files. This includes the options related to language features, module resolution, output targets, and more. Angular compiler options is basically related to the Angular and includes Angular specific compiler options within the Angular sections. These options allow for strict rules related to the templates and dependency injection, enhancing Angular development. It also includes the project structure definitions, which helps the TypeScript compiler understand the structure of our project by specifying which files to include and exclude from the compilation process. Next is the src folder. Src folder is in our Angular project serves as the primary root directory for all the source files and the resource necessary to develop this Angular application. It is the central location where we will write and organize our application's code. Next is our main component, which is the root component. This component is the component which is triggered first whenever application or the Angular CLI serves the application and run into the browser. And there is the main.ts file, which is the main entry point. The main.ts file serves as the main entry point for the Angular application, which bootstraps our application or the root module. For example, if you are working in your previous version, which is version 14 or earlier, then you would see here bootstrap module, but in version 14 and later you would see here bootstrap application, where the application is bootstrapped using only our component only. Earlier it was bootstrap using the modules. Next is the global styles. Global styles defines the global styles, CSS styles applied across the entire applications. And then there is the index.html file. It is the main HTML page that is served when the application is loaded in a web browser.